What is up, Savants fans and movie fans alike? We are talking tonight. This is episode number 20 of the Silver Screen Savants. We're flying through the show really well, I think.
Yep.
And we are talking about 2007's Beowulf with Anthony Hopkins, Angelina Jolie, Ray Winstone, and also
John Malkovich, Robin Wright.
Flipped my brain when you said
That's good. This movie has like a lot of big names in it for sure.
Movies like this, it helps them carry them along. Also, Crispin Glover is another name that Brendan Gleeson is the other famous name I can think of in it. It's a 2007 American animated fantasy action film. It's produced and directed by Robert Zemeckis, who did the Polar Express, also Back to the Future, a lot of animated stuff, I would say. Also, I mean, he's got a good record, I think, if I'm not mistaken, on the how his career. I just lost my train of thought for a second. This is an animated fantasy action film. This one, I remember seeing this movie in theaters, and it took me by surprise. Like, there have been so many adaptations of Beowulf. Also, Sci-Fi Channel has had in, I think it was 2003. I'll have to fact check this now at some point. It had, yeah, Sci-Fi at one point had a Beowulf version. It was called Grendel, and Beowulf is a Norse. It is a poem. So he is a Norse. It's hard to say if he's Norse, if he's.
Well, they're Norse. They're Norse. Yeah, okay. They are.
Yeah. So the movie began. Okay. It was released on November 5th, 2007. It was in Westwood, Los Angeles. It was released theatrically in the United States on November 16th, 2007 by Paramount Pictures, with Warner Brothers handling international distribution. It grossed $196.4 million. It was generally well received by most critics, though there was criticism toward its deviations from the original poem. In 507, Geatish warrior Beowulf travels to Denmark with his band of soldiers to slay Grendel, a creature that killed King Hrothgar's people during a celebration in the mead hall Heelrot, or something like that. Beowulf becomes attracted to Hrothgar's wife, Queen Wealhtheow. I think I'm saying that. I don't know.
No, it's right. It's probably right. Wealhtheow, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's played by Robin Wright.
Yeah. Robin Wright, I think this was my first movie per se that I'd ever seen her in. I don't know if I've seen her in other filmography before this. I just can't.
She's been around for a while, like in a lot of different films. Very beautiful. She's actually played, if you ever saw Forrest Gump, she plays Jenny in that.
That's one I've never. I don't know why that movie
plays Buttercup and Princess Bride.
Oh, okay. So I know that one. I've seen that movie.
Yep, she plays Jenny in that one. Let me see what else here. Because she's been out a lot. Well, you probably also saw the series House of Cards. She's in that as well.
No, never saw that.
Let's see if anything else that stands out that she's been in.
Princess Bride. Yes, I have seen her in that.
So she's the main girl in that one. So, so obviously this is some years later, of course. But she's been in a lot of stuff. Very good actress. Been in a lot of stuff. So yeah.
I gotta say, I do like the creature designs of stuff here. I'll get for. That's one thing I should have done. Let me see if I can find it.
You talk about Grendel itself?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think dealing with three different creatures pretty much for the most part throughout the film. You've got Grendel.
You got Grendel. You've got you had Hag. Hag was the let's see if I can put it in this. Hag was in there. Also, there's a dragon.
Mm-hmm. Why do they not list her?
Hag?
Just as her name, yeah.
If you Google it, you'll find like.
I mean, of course, yeah, I'm on Wiki, so I don't know. It's kind of weird that because they list all the other characters, but they don't really list her. They do list her as Jolie as Grendel's mother, but they don't give her a name, which is because I think it's Haruntine or something like that.
Here's Grendel. Here's Grendel. I really like this design of Grendel. This one jumps out at me when he was in the movie. I don't know what it is about the design, even for an animated movie like this, action animated. His design is just really impressed to me. It's like, oh my gosh, this design reminds me of like a Clash of the Titans kind of style design in a little bit. I like that style of creature-esque movie. I don't know what it is about Grendel, but Grendel to me just jumps out as like one of this ominous, dark, evil, menacing creatures or monsters of Norse mythology or whatever it is. Did you want me to pull up a picture of Hag? Is that what
you can. So obviously, really the movie starts out where Hrothgar, played by Anthony Hopkins, and you have to understand this movie is, I don't know if they really want to call it. It's. Let me see if I can see how they describe it, because it's animated in a certain way, but it's almost like 3D. Well, not really 3D, but just very animated. It's like the early versions of AI, but the way that they're able to get the similarities and facial features for each actor, so you actually know who it is. Like, it really looks close. Like, I remember looking at Wiglaf and like, Brendan Gleeson's playing that character. So that's Brendan Gleeson. Like, and I recognize him right away. So basically, Hrothgar, King Hrothgar, he's celebrating in his hall, and he's married to Robin Wright's character, Wealthy or Wealthau, whatever her name is.
I think you just said it right.
She's kind of like not mega happy with him, just in terms of like, he's always drunk, he's celebrating, he's kind of like dancing on his past glories and and stuff like this. And then of course, as you were kind of pointing to, Grendel shows up, and he's just very strong. Like, he's a very loose cannon. Like, he's just kind of, the thing that tips it off is they're celebrating in the hall and they're beating drums and stuff, and like really far away, Grendel can hear this because he has hypersensitive hearing in his head. Like, he has a spot where whenever he's hearing the noise, it's hurting him. Like, it's the noise itself is hurting him. So in order to shut it down, he travels to the castle and starts like breaking into the hall, and he starts killing guys. Like, he's very strong, monster-esque. And some of those are kind of cool because he's very brutal in some ways, like just some of the things he's doing, impaling them and all that kind of stuff. And then it's like there comes a moment where Wealthau's like on the ground, like hiding behind a table, and
Grendel's like, "Oh, hi, Jedi."
Hey, what's up, Jedi brother? How you doing, my friend? So she's kind of on the ground, and Grendel kind of like walks over, and he's got slime dripping out of his mouth, which is a nice effect. And basically, he looks at Hrothgar, and he's kind of like, he stops, like he doesn't kill him. And even though Hrothgar's got his sword, he's like, "Come on, fight me."
Yeah.
But Grendel just doesn't do anything. He kind of walks away and gets out of there because now the sound is gone. But we know there's like this, as a viewer, we know there's like this connection with him and Hrothgar in some way. Like, we just know there's something going on there. But this leads Hrothgar to seek out help. And this is sort of like 13th Warrior territory, where they're dealing with a creature that's destructive and hurting and killing people in his castle. So he seeks out help to take care of this, and he seeks out the help of Beowulf, who's this great warrior legend out there, played by Ray Winstone, which, again, amazing actor. If you've never seen Punisher Warzone, fucking my favorite version of Frank Castle ever. So
it's on my list eventually to see that movie. I've heard about it. I don't even know if now, Matt, you got me thinking. I don't even know if I've seen any of the Punishers. I know who Punisher is, though, because I've seen him in stuff. But I don't know, because it's just been like, I don't know why. It's not like, but anyways, about Grendel also, the one thing we know is that he's always in constant pain. Like, whenever there's noise and stuff, he's freaking out. all this stuff with him. I would like some backstory, some clarity, whatever, why, but I think the movie does a good job explaining it a little bit, in a sense. Maybe he was born like that. It's like, it might be a hearing deficit. I don't honestly know if that's to say. If that's
it's clear that, like, because we learned that Hrothgar had sexual encounters with Hag.
Yeah.
And the way that Hag works is she can take the form of pretty much her original form is grotesque, but you only see it through like a reflection of the water. But when she appears in front of men, like, she'll put herself in a human form that's very beautiful. Like, she's almost like a siren in some way. So she does this because she wants to keep her lineage and legacy going on. So she entices these kings to basically, I'll leave your castle and stuff alone, but you're going to give me a child. Like, it's one of these deals where we're going to part ways, but you're going to plant your seed in me and give me a child. And the problem is, because she is a creature of the night, the actual childs that are bared are like monsters in one form or another. And I do think in some ways, depending on the guy that she's seducing, like, I wonder if it's actually a product of how they kind of look. So it's hard to say, because Hrothgar probably had sexual encounters with Hag like long before he got old. So it's hard to say how he would have looked back then. But, Grendel was like this very grotesque, malformed creature, but still very innocent. He's like very innocent minded. And you can tell when his mother is trying to console him and stuff like that, that she understands he's still childlike by mentally, So, but yeah, and then of course, we find out that later on, we'll talk about where Beowulf actually ends up doing similar things, and his son looks a lot different, like in way that he's made up. But yeah, so he summons Beowulf to come and take care of the Grendel. Like, he's like, we have this creature, it's plaguing our lands. And the funny thing is, Hrothgar he knows deep down who it is, and he just doesn't want to admit it. And, Wealhtheow, his wife, also understands that there's something going on there as well. So Beowulf shows up. He has like a ton of support warriors with him. They're like very bombastic and proud and very arrogant, because they're like successful fighters. It's almost like them fighting with Thor. If you ever saw a Thor movie, you would see how the rest of the warriors around him get energized by his fighting ability. He's a very, like, or Troy, similar thing. So Beowulf is a legend, a great warrior. And so Hrothgar is basically just saying, he shows him the horn. I forget what they call it, the horn or something.
I don't know if they had a name.
I'm trying to remember what it's called. But the horn, it's almost like a horn, and also a drinking thing, like a horn for drinking mead and stuff. But anyway, it's made out of gold. What's that?
I just found the form of what Hag looks like. Actually, this is apparently what they're depicting as the true form. It's something
Okay, so
like
yeah,
that.
she does look
But
almost like a mermaid a little
you know
bit.
what I'm thinking? That one of her forms. Okay, and I'm sure we'll get into this in when Beowulf, his little story. You know, when he's racing the one guy in the water. I raced to one guy and then fought Serpent and stuff, and the Serpent takes him underwater. I'm now getting that feeling in my head that that could be one of her forms. That mermaid he first encounters.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there is a
And it gets to that point.
there is a callback to the event that Beowulf faces when he's in the water, and he comes across a mermaid, and again,
By the way, the horn is called gold. It's a golden drinking horn. That's the name of it.
okay,
It doesn't have
yeah.
a,
So that thing is like it has like a lot of multi purposes. It's like obviously made of gold. It's also something that Hrothgar drinks out of to celebrate because like it's one of his favorite possessions. But it's also something that you can take into a cave as gives you light, like it lights up, it gives you light, which is very neat. So it has like a lot of multi-purposes. So whether it's magically enchanted, I don't know, but it's just a very cool piece of item. And so the minute that Hrothgar shows Beowulf, Beowulf is immediately like in a trance. He's like, "Oh, that's really nice. I like that." I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
It was kind of it's kind of like that light that it kind of like Sting in Lord of the Rings in a sense, the thing, because you know what, Sting has that ability where if there's orcs or nearby or whatever in the movie, they say it glows, it lights up in the dark, for them when they need it, and then it's like that, or it's like that light thing that they get. I can't. It's an ages since I've seen Lord of the Rings, in fact, but it's in the third one. They have a thing when they go into the spider's nest or whatever that lights up.
Yeah.
That could be kind of like that sense multi-purpose tool.
Yeah, Sting. Well, Sting is a good thing to talk about because it reacts to orcs, and so obviously, if you come across some orcs, then it shows like gives you light and lights your way. Basically, it's designed to do that. What are you doing? You can't go in there. Do you want to pick it up with the story?
Where are we at in this? Okay.
Just basically when Beowulf shows up and he's actually being offered like the reward for what he would do if he beats the Grendel.
Oh, okay. Okay. So to lure out Grendel, the men loudly cheer and hurrah. Grendel arrives and they fight. An unarmed and naked Beowulf discovers that Grendel has hypersensitive hearing and ruptures the creature's eardrum. After Beowulf severs his arm, Grendel escapes back to his cave and dies. Grendel's mother swears revenge, and thanks for defeating the monster, Hrothgar gives Beowulf his golden drinking horn, which commemorates Hrothgar's victory over the dragon Fafnir. And this is the supposed child of Beowulf and Hag. I don't know that's what I'm assuming, but you don't know for certain. But that's what I'm assuming it is.
What are you talking about?
The dragon is the child.
It is, yeah, but so Beowulf gets tasked to kill Grendel, which he does. He actually fights Grendel back in the hall again. And
it's a good fight, I think.
Oh yeah, and it's where Beowulf figures out what exactly is the weakness of Grendel. So like he understands that Grendel gets hurt with the work of sound. It like will affect him. This reminds me a lot of Road Warrior 3, Thunderdome, where Gibson's character Mad Max is fighting this guy called Master Blaster in this arena, and the little guy on top, well, he's not on top while they're fighting, but the big guy that's actually the blaster, he's like this really Hulk of a beast. It's very strong. So, but Max figures out that sound hurts his ears, and that's how he gets the advantage of that fight. Similar to what Beowulf does here, where he understands that Grendel can't stand loud noises. So that's what he does. Smashing his hand into that soft spot in his eardrum, and eventually takes both his arms and really mortally wounds Grendel, where he goes back to his lair, and of course Mom's there and he's dying and all that jazz. But yeah, so go ahead.
And he goes to Mom, and he's like, he says something about Beowulf killed me or hurt me enough, and then so Grendel dies in the pool with his mother, and then also the next day, this is where it gets darker, I think. The next day after, so Hrothgar gives Beowulf the
horn.
Yeah, Hrothgar gives Beowulf his golden drinking horn, which commemorates Hrothgar's victory over the dragon Fafnir. This is what I'm going. I wonder if that's the dragons.
What's up, Brony?
Oh, hi, Brony. But and then the next day, Hag, aka Grendel's mother, she travels to Herat and she slaughters most of Beowulf's men in the night. And it's dark there because, you think you have all your soldiers with you, and then Hag just appears out of nowhere. It's like a bad dream. He wakes up and he sees all his soldiers dead in the night.
Yep.
It's like a nightmare. Oh, we're doing good. How about you, Brony? Hrothgar informs Beowulf and Beowulf's Wiglaf that Grendel's mother is the last of the water demons. Hrothgar's advisor offers Unferth, played by John Malkovich, offers Beowulf his sword, Hrunting to slay Grendel's mother. Beowulf and Wiglaf travel to the demon's cave, where Beowulf enters alone and confronts the demon, who takes the form of a gold-covered naked woman. And by the way, this is Hag right here. I don't know if the picture can try to find a good one.
It's when she's in human form.
Yeah, but it's creepy. It's dark. It's interesting. I don't know if you've seen Angelina Jolie this dark in this kind of like out of weirdness films, but this is to me what kind of it's cool that she can pull off the creature stuff if this is what she could do with this movie,
Yeah, I mean she's a good actress. The thing about this film, though, it was, again, while a lot of the work was done behind the scenes with like computer animation and stuff.
I remember watching. I used to have this movie on DVD. I don't have it anymore. It's been long gone. But I remember them wearing like it. It's kind of like how they've done computer stuff, where they'll wear technology and they'll digitize. How they motion capture stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll wear the dots and stuff, like Star Wars. They did it in other movies where it's tied like that, how they do it, and it's really cool. And I think that's how they did a lot of the computer. They did the motions, the movements, whatever, and then they did,
It's interesting how they did this, but I have to ask you: did you ever see the 300 with Jared Butler? Okay, would you have preferred them to kind of do it in that way rather than the way they did it here?
Yeah, in a sense. I mean, I would, if I had to say, which version I like more. I like each one equal. So for me, 300 it stands out because I do like how they did the live action aspect instead of CGI, and I could see them have done Beowulf. The creatures, it's really hard to do the creatures in live action unless you did a full suit performance action role or whatever, like Galactus, for example, Fantastic Four. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's like the suit is wholeheartedly.
Well, definitely the CGI back then with this is a lot rougher than it is now. Now it's a little bit more perfected. We've seen a lot better versions of CGI stuff in the modern day, but
I mean, in a sense, also though, I don't think the CGI was as good, back then as it is now. It could have they could have done. I could have seen them do practical stuff with this movie. I don't know how you could do a dragon practical because, I mean that would probably have to be CGI'd. As for Hag, you can do practical like that with her. I would actually have liked to have seen them fight, because that's one thing you don't see is she just talks about it, but you don't actually see Beowulf going and her fighting. So that would have been one thing I would like. And
yeah, go ahead.
I think you could do Grendel practical as well. It's just, you would have to. It's hard to say though with Grendel if you can do him practical or
probably not. Plus because of his size, so he is much bigger than a normal human. Same with even to a degree, Hag is larger than man, but because she can kind of adjust her looks and everything, she can adjust her height and everything. But you could have done. The CGI is fine. In 300, they did animals that were CGI, which were really cool.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so they could have probably done something to the same effect with Grendel. And of course, I mean, the dragon in this looks great. I like the dragon in this a lot. The look looks really good. But I think I would have liked it a little bit more in the vein of 300, just because I do like these actors, but when you watch them, it's you can definitely tell they were doing an animated movie, which is not horrible. But I think I would have preferred to seen the real actors doing the roles, and then just kind of add in your animated type stuff behind it, like the 300 kind of does. But it is what it is. It's not a major issue really per se.
Yeah. So we were Beowulf and Wiglaf travel to the demon's cave. Beowulf enters alone and confronts the demon, who takes the form of a gold-covered naked woman. He tries to kill her, but she uses magic to melt her hunting, after which she seduces Beowulf and promises to make him king in exchange for the horn and a son. Beowulf accepts the deal and they kiss.
Now, I will say this too. I love John Malkovich, and his character of Unferth in this is it's a little confusing for me because he seems like a very conniving guy. There's this moment of tension between him and Beowulf first shows up. This reminds me again a lot of 13th Warrior, where the main character in that one is facing an issue where the son of the prince or the prince of the king that they're helping is trying to be waving stuff. He's what kind of quest have you won and you haven't been here to face the Ben Gur, so it's this is kind of a similar thing where Unferth is almost like Worm Tongue, or where he's trying to tell the king this guy is not really gonna beat the Grendel, no way. And so there's this pissing contest. And so, but I thought that Malkovich's character was a little bit wasted here, because he eventually says he praises Beowulf after he kills Grendel. And he's like, I was wrong about you. But I was like, I don't know, the way they kind of brought him and introduced him, I thought he'd be a bigger part of this trying to sabotage everything. You know what I mean? I was a little disappointed they didn't do more with that character and just kind of made him easy going after that first like confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
And Malkovich plays such a good villain half the time that like they could have really expanded upon that character.
I've never even seen the 13th Warrior.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm sure it'll be on the list somewhere.
Yeah.
Beowulf returns to Herat with Grendel's head and announces that he has killed Grendel's mother, recounting embellished stories of a fight, claiming that he left her hunting, impaled in the body of Grendel's mother, and lost a horn in the battle. But that's not true, because you kind of see it in the ending, the real reality.
Well, yeah, it's hard to explain how this works. So, and I don't know if the horn is actually something that's. So, yeah, you ever seen the Harry Potter films?
I've seen all of them.
So the sword of Gryffindor can show up anywhere it wants, basically. This thing kind of does a similar thing. I don't know if it's by design or if it's just like, I don't know if it's like the hag is kind of just throwing it out there so that men find it, because it seems to be like this. It's almost like a lure. It's like, hey, I'm going to throw this in your direction somewhere and you're going to find it and men are going to fall for it. So, yeah, he does lose it or pretends to lose it, but she keeps the horn. And of course, Beowulf, impregnates her for the kid. And the deal is that she just won't attack the castle anymore. She'll just kind of go along her way. But in the midst of all this, before we even get to him facing off with Hag, Hrothgar, after the Grendel killing, knows that, or actually right when Beowulf comes back from this fight, Hrothgar knows that Beowulf didn't kill her. Like, he was asking specific questions about, did you kill the mother? He's like, yeah, because he brought back Grendel's head, but Grendel was already dead. And he just basically said, yeah, I killed Grendel already. Here's his head, but I killed his mom too. And Hrothgar's like, well, how do we know? Like, he's kind of questioning like what's going on. And and thing is, Hrothgar knows that the mother can seduce men. Like, he's first knowledge of this. He has first knowledge of this. So he questions Beowulf. He's like, did you really kill her or not? And so he doesn't really believe when Beowulf says yes. Beowulf says, yeah, I just killed the hag. And he's like, yeah, I don't know about this. But he picks up on it. And he basically, at this point, Hrothgar kind of feels like, okay, I created this curse upon myself by having sex with this creature, to which my wife and the rest of the people didn't know about. So this curse is now going to be passed off to Beowulf. So he's basically saying, if and when I die, I don't have any sons, because we've learned that if you have sex with this creature, it makes you sterile, so you can't have kids. So he never got a chance to have a son. So he basically just said, if I die, you get my kingdom and everything with it. And at this point, Hrothgar pretty much walks to the edge of one of the windows in the castle, which is very high up, and just falls out with his sword. He just falls to the shoreline, the rocks, committing suicide. And so that by then gives Beowulf the crown to be the king. And so he also inherits the widow Wealhtheow, who's now, of course, there's some attraction there. He's a lot beastier of a guy, and she's attracted to him and his exploits as a warrior. But after 50 years, she converts to Christianity. Beowulf takes on a mistress, something that's very common for that time period with medieval times, and the kings that would have many women to try to bear kids. I think that was part of his. He didn't realize having sex with the creature would make him sterile, so he thought that he would be able to bear children to, be heirs to his throne, which never happened. So he does take on a mistress, which she looks really young in this, Ursula. But on the anniversary of Beowulf's victory against Grendel, Unferth returns the horn which he found on the moors, which
Yeah.
again, so again, the horn shows back up. And so then in a nearby village, as actually it's when Wealhtheow and Ursula are talking about, because Wealhtheow knows she's sleeping with the king Beowulf.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're having this little discussion out on the one of the king or the castle walls or whatever, and all of a sudden they see this fire coming from a nearby village, and they see this dragon just setting fire to everything. It's just blowing it up. And then we get this scene where in the village, an old man is in the hut that's burning, and the dragon comes down. You can kind of hear it from the back of you because like we can't really see it, but you can hear it. And then also the shadow changes form into like a human. And this human is certainly a male, which tells this old man, like, give this message to Beowulf about the sins of the father. And so he eventually gets taken, helped to the castle to where he does deliver the message about, the sins of the father. Beowulf understands that, oh, okay, this must be tied to the hag, and this must be also tied to me. This must be something that I created through this. And this comes back to the thing I was saying about maybe the different types of genes that each king or male that ever enter or comes across the hag, the offspring might represent or reflect that. So Hrothgar was kind of a messy guy, messy king, overweight, yada, yada, yada. So Grendel was kind of like a grotesque looking creature for his offspring. But whereas Beowulf is in his prime when he was having an affair with the creature hag, and his offspring is like, if you ever seen Excalibur, it's similar to something like that. But you have this very well fit guy who can turn into a dragon that's like a beast. Like this dragon is a magnificent creature, an incredible looking creature.
I think the dragon looks really impressive for a movie with CGI like this. So
yeah,
I think it's one of the coolest creatures, in the sense of, how they did the design of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as far as the animation is concerned, the dragon looks really the best of all of them. And probably part of that's because they actually do have moments with the dragon when it's attacking the castle in the daylight, so you get to see a little more of the animation there, as opposed to darker stuff that we saw with Grendel, because Grendel doesn't like light. And I don't think even Hag really likes to light that much. He stays in that cave a lot and then in darker areas. So the dragon can kind of do whatever it wants whenever it wants. So the dragon does that, and then the message gets to Beowulf. Let me see.
So
Go ahead. Yeah.
I don't know if you're aware about this, but in Beowulf they did it was a show, and they kind of had some of the stuff like this. I don't know if they had Grendel in it, but Hag was in it, and it's just 13 episodes. It didn't get renewed or anything, but they had a show for Beowulf, and it was called Beowulf Return to the Shieldlands. It was in 2016. In the United. Yeah, it was, but it kind of had deferring stuff from it, from the movie.
Did it have like the same actors or no?
No, different actors altogether.
Okay.
David Bradley is the only recognizable name in it. But it was in that kind of, it is, it's based on the poem. Beowulf's a poem, and it, but it's kind of different in a sense. I remember watching a little bit of it before, but it wasn't that. It was like 13 episodes. It's all on Tubi if you wanted to check it out. but it's in its own variety in a sense. Now, as for Malkovich's character in Beowulf, the movie, I do agree in a sense with what you're saying about Malkovich's character. Like, I would have done like what you said about Malkovich, how I would have made him like a villainish type character.
Well, yeah, because they spent so much time early in the film making him very combative. It always seemed like he had like this ulterior motive against the king, even Hrothgar. Like it seemed like he kind of wanted to be the one to claim the throne if Hrothgar died. This is before Beowulf even came into picture. So when Beowulf does arrive, it's almost like Unferth is very angry that, Hrothgar is calling for someone else to come here. And then all of a sudden now this guy's getting all this praise, he's getting all the glory, and he hasn't done anything yet as far as they are concerned. Like he just has this legend of himself that through, word of mouth throughout the, countrysides or whatever. But it just seems like once Beowulf kills Grendel, there's like this 180 from Unferth, how he treats Beowulf. It's like, oh, I was so wrong. Now I'm going to kiss your ass. I'm going to give you this sword and do all this stuff. And it's like, okay, that was that easy. Huh? All you had to do was kill Grendel and that was it. It's like you didn't want to listen to anything else. The guy had been telling you about his exploits of triumphs, but now you had to see it firsthand. But yeah, I don't know. I just felt like the character was designed to do one thing, but then they kind of changed their mind as it went on. Because I think he still could have been a factor. He could have been somebody that, found out that Beowulf slept with Hag and said, "Oh, you know what? If you don't become honest or be honest with the townspeople, I'm gonna tell your secret." One of those things. Like, but he never does. Or let's say Wealhtheow didn't know about the affair with Ursula, and somehow Unferth found out about it, and he's using that against Beowulf or against Wealhtheow or whatever. Like you would think he was kind of like a snake, but they just never continued on with that type of persona. He just changed ultimately all the way around.
So kind of like a Malfoy kind of sense, or
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where were we at with the story?
We are right before the dragon shows up. So right before the sun shows up to just try to attack the castle.
So basically, so 50 years later?
No, we're right where Beowulf and Wiglaf go to the cave again to confront Hag. So this is the second time that he shows up.
Unferth returns the horn which was found on the moors that night.
No, this is where so when they're on horseback and he and his right hand man Wiglaf show back up.
Okay. Armor.
It's right when he faces the dragon first time in the cave after she shows up.
Okay, so Beowulf and Wiglaf go to the cave, and Beowulf enters alone.
Yep.
When Grendel's mother appears, Beowulf throws her the horn, but she refuses it. See, you never see that in the movie, I don't think. Do you? Can't remember.
Well, I think so. Yeah, because remember, it was Unferth that brought the horn back to Beowulf because he found it right before the dragon attacked the village. So he has the horn, but he throws it at her, but she doesn't want it now. But this tells you also that she's kind of a conniving, manipulating chick. So she had the horn, and yet the horn showed up near the village where Unferth can find it. So I think she does this on purpose to basically re-trap these guys so she can go out and create carnage, because that's just what she does. Like she's, whether she's a form of a mermaid or a siren or whatever, or a succubus, she's just one of these things that feeds upon man, and then like in order to get offspring. So now this is the case where she's going to send her new offspring to destroy the castle and destroy Beowulf. So it's still like she's got this vengeance on her mind. So, but it's always a trap. So yeah.
Funny. So Grendel, which is another adaptation, it's the sci-fi adaptation. It came out the same year as the movie. It came out the same year as this film Beowulf from 2007. It's a made for television sci-fi movie though.
Mm-hmm.
And Hag is definitely looks a lot vicious in it. She's like a bat, like a really bat kind of like creature in the sci-fi movie compared to this. So I don't know which one's more accurate. I would assume this one, but that's just me.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the lore about it that much.
Yeah. The dragon attacks Beowulf Castle, threatening Weathlow.
And Ursula, yeah.
Yeah. Beowulf arms himself and confronts the dragon. Despite severing his own arm and losing his sword, Beowulf kills the dragon by ripping its heart out. They tumble to the rocky beach below the castle. The dragon transforms into its golden humanoid form before being washed out to sea. A dying Beowulf reveals to Wiglaf his affair with Grendel's mother and acknowledges his son, but Wiglaf insists on keeping his legacy intact. As the new king, Wiglaf gives Beowulf a Norse funeral.
Ooh.
Wiglaf finds the horn in the sand and sees Grendel's mother give Beowulf a final kiss as his burning ship sinks into the sea. See, for the longest time when I watch this movie, I feel like the horn is connected to the dragon, like that's its heart, in a sense. But that could be me thinking that.
No, like I said, like the horn existed before the dragon even did. So it's more of just like, I think it's almost like how to pronounce it's almost like a trap. So she uses it because like men get very, so if you think of like Lord of the Rings, right, or The Hobbit, so the dwarves were fascinated by gold. Same with the dragon. And so what happens is the gold in The Hobbit, it transformed the dwarves into angry men who want to war and fight, and they just don't think right. So this horn does a similar thing. She throws it out there. It's like a lure. And she knows that Beowulf is passing. So now her job is to try to ensnare Wiglaf, who now has the crown. So Beowulf gives him the right to be king. And we get that at the end of the film is where he's got the horn, and then we see Hag show up in the water as her beautiful self, kind of just looking at it, almost like a siren calling him out like a mermaid would, like, come to me. And, we get that moment where he's like halfway out in the water, but he stops. So it's like, is he going to fall for the trap, or is he just going to come back and, live life the right way? Because her job now, if we follow the way she's been going, is that she wants to yet have another son or another kid. So, because now they're gone, like she lost Grendel and this dragon. So her job now is to try to get the next king to try to get her again pregnant and then go again. It's like a cycle, just continued cycle.
Yep, and Wiglaf finds a horn in the sand, sees Grendel's mother give Beowulf a final kiss as his burning ship sinks into the sea. Grendel's mother floats on the water surface and seductively beckons Wiglaf toward her. He wades into the sea while holding the horn before pausing halfway in the surf. They both stare at each other with Grendel's mother waiting and Wiglaf tempted but showing resistance as the film fades in the cliffhanger ending. So what's nice is it ends in a cliffhanger, so it go ways we don't know, But I'm assuming it's one of those movies where it would have to have a sequel in order to figure out the results of what happened at the end.
Yeah, and then I don't even know like where they would go with the story, because like I said, everything in this film is very recycled. So like with Hrothgar, then Beowulf, it's all kind of like the rinse and repeat in terms of what happens to them. They fall for the basically fall for the banana in the tailpipe and like the gold horn, and then of course get seduced by Hag, and then of course it's just a continued cycle of like how their lives just fall apart from there because of the revenge cycle or the fact that these offspring come back to haunt them in a sense. I did find this funny though. According to Ray Winstone, he and his fellow cast spent several days filming in blue skin tight suits. So because of the animation, they had to be in these suits that they would then put animation around. And he says, showing up all your lumps and bumps in the wrong places, which can be hard when standing in front of Angelina Jolie, who looks stunning in her. So she was probably the most fit of everyone there, but everyone else is in these suits looking a little bit like lumpy and dumpy, which I find funny.
So Beowulf is a Geat, now a Dane, and travels to Denmark to help King Hrothgar.
Oh, that's interesting. So, co-screenwriter Roger Avery directed a musical version of Beowulf for the Parisian stage after his debut movie Killing Zoe. Something that Goji and I did on my Vintage Cult Cinema. We reviewed that film, so that's kind of cool that this guy had a little of a hand in that.
Rachel Bernstein was the body double for Angelina Jolie in the
scene. For the nude scenes, yeah.
This is the first motion capture animated movie to be rated PG-13. According to visual effects supervisor Jerome Chen, close to 300 cameras were used, compared with 64 to 72 for the Polar Express. Based on the oldest known written story in a language purporting to be English. Steven Spielberg directed a couple of the shots when he visited the film set.
Yep.
So
yeah.
I was going to say, Grendel and Crispin Glover portrays Grendel in a similar motion capture method as Andy Serkis did for Gollum in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. They both share the same birth date, Crispin Glover and Andy Serkis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do we want to put a review on this? What?
Yeah.
10?
Final thoughts and ratings.
Final thoughts.
So the final thoughts is I saw this back when it came out. I didn't go to the theater to see this, but I definitely saw it when it hit like streaming or whatever. And I found it being an okay film. I don't remember ever being really blown away by it, but it was certainly decent enough. A second time around, I still kind of enjoyed it. Still same feelings a little bit. It's not something I'm going to really own or anything like that, but I can appreciate it. A lot of great actors. Like none of the acting's a problem. You have like some of the best here doing these voices and stuff, and so there's like zero problem in that thing. And it is always fun because I love fantasy movies and stuff like that. But I would recommend these people see it once. It's not something I would go back to a lot. So for me, it's more like a 7 out of 10. It's not anything to really write home about, but it's okay. I don't mind it.
Mm-hmm. So I remember seeing this in theaters. I thought it was, and then I bought it on DVD. Oh,
that's just my next pick. So when you're ready.
That's one I've been wanting to see. So,
and this is finish your thought. Finish your.
And to me, I really like the movie overall. I think it's not a 10 out of 10 for me either. it's probably an 8 out of 10. I would say. It's solid casting choices, acting. The CGI is pretty good for it. The time, I mean, it's dated now, I would say.
Yeah.
But overall, the story is. I didn't see a lot of flaws, but that's just me. I mean, hey, everybody has flaws that they notice in movies. They don't. But yeah, that's Beowulf from 2007.
Solid pick.
Uh-huh. Do you want me to show what we're doing for next week?
Yeah, so obviously I've been talking with Sci-Fi Century for a while because I know he wants to kind of review this at some point on his channel, but I need to really revisit this. It's one that I grew up watching a lot as a teen. So, and since Mr. Olven here has not ever seen this, it's about time that he did. So we're going to sit down with this film, The Beastmaster, a really
Does
great
Sci-Fi
film.
want to join us for that too?
He might, because the minute we start advertising it, so we might even get Goji in there too. I don't know, but either way, like this is a fantastic film. So I'm kind of anxious to hear how you feel about it. It's fun. It's a fun film. So
and I think this has animals in it. So
yep, it does. In fact, yep.
I don't know what my next pick is after, honestly.
You could think it over. We got time. No rush. You could tell people what you got coming up, though. You still have stuff coming up on your channel. The stuff you have coming up, anything you got coming up to tell people about?
Oh, first.
It's okay, folks. He's still asleep. That's all.
No. Very funny. First, I picked these up the other day. I haven't opened the shrink wrap yet, but
Kamen Rider, yeah.
This is the latest. This one is right there. That's the latest release from Discotheque Media. They should be having an event the 9th of August for more stuff, and this is the other Soul Brain. Super Rescue Soul Brain. More Metal Hero stuff. More Tokusatsu stuff for the Tokusatsu collection off the side. You can't see it, but
someday, man, you should just go through and make a video where you kind of showcase your Tokusatsu stuff, like all the stuff that you have. Just kind of go through it like a little bit and say, "Hey, got this in my collection. I got this in my collection. Guess what? Anubis doesn't have this in his collection, so here you go."
No, in all seriousness, though, I have regular movies in with it, so that's going to be the problem, to go through all that stuff, sort it out. I have all these regular movies with the collection as well. So.
Yeah, but some people are kind of interested in that. So, like, even if you just do it in parts, like, make it like an episodic type thing where you take like 30 minutes and you just kind of go through some of your stuff and say, yeah, here's the ones I'm showcasing today. This is this, and this is this. This is what this is about. Like, I think people would find that very interesting. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. But as for me, for upcoming content, we have this coming out. I have not put the intro together. I plan to do some tonight, maybe start a little bit of it. And it's one thing I am looking forward to. It's a whole new show, so we'll be talking comics with This is me and Gojira 851. This is our comic show where we talk about comic stuff. He calls it a spotlight, I call it a show. So I guess they're in the same category, though, in a sense.
Yeah.
Coming soon this month, me and Gojira 851 will be talking about this.
Ooh.
We will be playing this game together on stream. So I believe it comes out soon, in a couple weeks, I would say. I would have to go onto the PlayStation to check. I don't have a date for this show set up yet, but this is one thing that'll be on the channel for the Tokusatsu stuff.
Nice.
So that'll be something. And then the other show, I don't have any date or anything. I got all these stuff to put intro and stuff for before I go into stuff,
Mm-hmm.
So, and then right now the plans are for me, I'm going to try and work on this intro for the new show. I got an idea for the outro for what to put, like as the image. I might need some help. Maybe you can help me find one of the things off Pinterest or whatever. Like, I had an idea for maybe Thor's hammer. He lifts it up and lightning strikes it or something. As sort of something comic-y, something comic-like related. Whether it be that or something really, I just gotta. I think that would be a cool outro thing with the lightning hitting the hammer. Or I'm sure eventually with the comic show, I'm sure we'll get Sentry on when we talk Beta Ray Bill, because that's one of his favorite characters, I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know. I know who Beta Ray Bill is. I don't know much about the character, so I'll let Sentry maybe recommend issues for somebody that's never heard of the character or stuff.
Yeah.
The other plan is, though, for me to get the outro and intro for the horror stuff for Savants done. So
nice.
I've got that and then I gotta do the intro outro for the other shows and stuff. But then,
sweet.
What do you have upcoming?
So Monday, I'm getting together with Kevin Lambert for the Entertainment Headquarters for his retro movie show. And we're reviewing his pick this time, which is Leon the Professional with Jean Reno and Natalie Portman. So we'll be reviewing that film, which I love that film. So it's been a while, but we'll be reviewing that. Then on Ghouls of Midnight, my pick, I don't remember what Tony picked yet. For my pick for Ghouls, we're going to pick a movie called Night of a Thousand Cats. It's like a 70s film, so we'll see how that goes. I don't know anything about it too much other than some of the clips I saw. Outside of that, I do have an unboxing I'm going to do. I don't know when it's going to happen because I'm still waiting on some stuff, but it's going to include stuff from Metalhead Unboxing and Severin. I ordered some Blu-rays. I've got a couple figurines I'm going to show off, but outside of that, until those come in. Amazon? Some are from other locations as well.
Severin. I've never even heard of Severin.
Oh, Severin's like they deal with Blu-rays. That's all they do, but they do nice. Yeah. As I said, Beastmaster for Silver Screens on next Saturday. If I do any other shows, I'll stick them in there. Like I do plan to do some more Lone Wolf with Dub and my Species Spotlight stuff, but I haven't really planned it out yet. I have one. I just have to set it up. Like I haven't really got a cast or panel yet for it. I'm trying to remember which one I was going to do because there was a couple I had in mind.
Interview with the Vampire was one you wanted.
Yes, that's the one I think I was going to do first because the other one was going to be about what if about the Predators. So like if they had changed Predators film into something else. So those are a couple that I have in mind to go forward. So I do want to do the vampire one first. And maybe since we're getting close to October, maybe I'll wait on that one and do the Predators first. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But yeah, so I just got some different things coming up that we're going to be doing.
You got me intrigued enough for maybe Predators
Yeah, I know that Goji really likes that film. I have problems with it.
The original one?
Huh?
You would talk about the original?
No, we're talking Predators.
Never seen it. Oh, I've seen it. I say I've never seen it, and then I remember, duh, I've seen that one before.
Yeah, it's the one with Adrian Brody
Yeah,
in
I've
it.
seen that one.
But there's some nice concepts about that one, but there's some other shit I don't like about it. So basically do a what if on that one, and have some fun with that. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that.
Oh boy, that might be hard to find, the Beastmaster.
I should be able to find it.
Huh? Oh, okay, it's on YouTube. Sweet.
Yep.
But this has been Silver Screen Savants, episode 20. This has been over Beowulf from 2007. And we will see you all next week.
Yep. Take care, everybody. Cheers.